What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck! Woohoo! Woohoo! That's me trying to make like scary monster sounds while also being excited because it's crazy. Hey, I'm your host, Austin Facer, by the way. We'll start there. Welcome to SLC Puck, your Utah hockey podcast that you know, you love. You come for a good time. We try to deliver it. I am wearing a silly costume today. Alex, there's some sentimentality behind this costume, by the way, and I'll get into that in just a second. But, man, you know, it's so crazy because I'm feeling two emotions at the same time. I'm feeling like really excited, really energized about what the Utah Hockey Club is experiencing. They're off to a hot start, 3-0, victories over Chicago, victories over the New York Islanders, another win against the Rangers, the last two in overtime. But I gotta tell you, I'm scared too, because the Utah Hockey Club boasts a guy who I think might be the scariest player in hockey right now. And I'll get into who that is in just a minute. But thanks again, guys, for tuning in to SLC Puck. If you know the show, if you like the show, if you love the show, and you want to support the show, which I would appreciate, here's how you can do it. I just want to plug this really quick for you guys. So I have a merch shop. It's slcpuck.shop. I just uploaded some cool new designs in there. I'm pretty excited about this one. This is the SLC Puck Established 2024 hoodie. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks cool. It's a lot like the hoodies that the players wore off the plane back in April. It's in sweatshirt form, though, because I know some of us prefer the crew neck sweatshirt, especially this time of year. I can't wait for it to get a little bit cooler. Can't wait for trick-or-treating either. What if I went trick-or-treating like this as an adult? Here's why that would be funny, okay? Let me just show you like where the inspiration for today's costume is coming from. And all month in October, we've been celebrating with by decorating the studio with Halloween decorations. I've been wearing silly costumes, all that good stuff. Because I've said, my promise to you guys has been that this podcast will have more costumes than any other sports podcast in the history of the medium. But this is where today's costume inspiration comes from. Okay, so this is me getting ready for today's show out here in the backyard where SLC Puck Studios is located. And I'm holding a little picture here, right here. Ignore my dirty fingernails. They're covered in green paint. But you can see right here in this picture, this is me about 10 years old, probably fourth grade or so, wearing my DCYHA hockey jersey, which, by the way, still fits like a glove. Maybe just a little bit of a smaller glove, like what O.J. Simpson was dealing with. But, yeah, it's a medium right now. But anyway, that's me at 10. I wanted to be like some sort of like zombie hockey player, I think. So I don't know where the red hairspray came into play, but that was sort of the thought there. So this is a homage to 10-year-old me, and which is fitting because this whole show is really an homage to 10-year-old Austin. So why not really lean into that? But anyway, so we're here, we're talking. It's October 13th. Ooh, thank goodness it's not Friday the 13th. That would be spooky. Speaking of like spooky movies, like who would you say like your favorite spooky movie character is? You know, there's Jason Voorhees, there's Freddy Krueger, there's Michael Myers. Those guys are kind of like the big three. I did say Jason, yeah. Those guys, I would say, pretty scary guys in the horror movie scene. But I think none of them compare to the actual terror that Dylan Guenther puts into the hearts of his opponents at the NHL level. Dylan Guenther is unbelievable right now. He's the hottest player. He's so hot right now. That's what Will Ferrell's character in Zoolander would say, whose name escapes me. He's so hot right now. This Dylan Guenther guy. He's scary too. Ooh, he's scary. He's leading the NHL in goals right now. 3 games into the year with 5 goals. Let's just go over really quick the kind of the surreal hot start that the Utah Hockey Club is experiencing right now. Yeah, they're 3-0. A couple of all the wins have been impressive and exciting in their own right, but the last 2 in particular have been really exciting. Over the New York Islanders, 5-4 overtime win. The tying goal by Josh Doan from assist by Alex Kerfoot, I thought was the highlight of the game. That was a really nice high energy play. Less than 2 minutes to go, they get that big goal to tie the game. gives them a shot to win it in overtime, which they did, thanks to the scariest man in hockey. Dylan Guenther scored the game winner there in OT. A couple days later, they head over to the Big Apple. They get off the island and head over to the Big Apple, where they win their second overtime victory of the young season. That game, another goal by Guenther on the power play, and we'll talk more about his play on the power play in just a second because it's terrifying. I can't imagine being on the penalty kill unit going up against Utah's power play unit, especially when Dylan Guenther's on the ice. You got to keep an eye on him because he will scare you. Ooh, he will light the lamp, and it's terrifying. But that game also featured this was just last night. 2 goals by Clayton Keller and 1 assist. He is tied among the NHL league leaders in points with 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. Another guy who should be getting a lot of love right now is Logan Cooley. He's tied for first in the NHL with the Vegas Golden Knights' Jack Eichel, a guy who I like because he wears number 9 and he's right-handed. So I've always liked Jack Eichel a lot. They're tied at the top of the leaderboard of 5 assists. The Utah Hockey Club right now is the highest scoring team in the NHL. Just 3 games into the season. They've got 16 goals. I believe this is a feat that the former Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes never achieved in their history. They never scored 16 goals in their first 3 games. So the Utah is red hot, and it is a lot of fun to see. We see these guys are getting a lot of national praise right here. I'll just show you this tweet by PK Subban, a guy who I really like as well. Utah, dog on a bone mentality, every shift, no quit, outworking every team they play. I would agree. Fun team to watch. I'm totally in agreement with that. Still missing Marino and Bjugstad. That's true. Have $8.3 million in cap space to potentially add more pieces. Woo, that should scare the rest of the NHL. It gets me excited, but I bet it makes the rest of the NHL scary. Lots of hockey to be played. This is PK Subban. But fun to watch now how hard this team competes every night. That is a good way to put it. Ryan Miller, my guy at KSL.com, also summed it up pretty nicely last night. I'm not sure how you could have scripted a better first 3 games to get new fans hooked on hockey. 16 goals, 2 overtime winners, and 3 wins. It's been a fun week. I'm totally agreeing with Ryan there. Like this feels like it is scripted. Like that's just how like kind of magical it is. It feels like this is like been like Hollywood's greatest minds have gathered in a room, and they've said, okay, we're gonna script the start to the Utah Hockey Club's first season in Utah. We got to have some scary characters. Dylan Guenther will be a good one. We got to have drama. We got to have intrigue. We got to have guys that are easy to root for. And my hat goes off to Hollywood. You guys are scripting together an unbelievable start to the year. It's a ton of fun. And what makes this like kind of like it kind of like makes me reminisce to when the Golden Knights had their first season in Vegas, which I looked it up, was also pretty magical. I remember this a little bit from when they first started. It was the 2017-2018 season. And again, they hit the scene in a big way. They were a pure expansion team, though. They did the expansion draft, everything. You remember Marc-Andre Fleury was sort of the centerpiece of that team, but there was also guys like Wild Bill, Jonathan Marchessault, sort of the misfits, I think is what they called themselves. But they came on the scene in a big way. But the Utah Hockey Club, if we're going to call them an expansion team, which is what the NHL is calling them, and I think how they're going to be, registered in history, they have a chance to do something that I don't think Vegas was able to accomplish, and the Seattle Kraken certainly didn't do this either, their first season. But just going through Vegas's first month here as a franchise, they won their first 3 games. They were very close games. They won 2-1 over Dallas, and then again over Arizona, and then played the Coyotes again and beat them 5-2. So not nearly as many goals their first 3 games, just 9. But then they lost their 4th game to Detroit. So if the Utah Hockey Club wins tomorrow morning, by the way, they play in the morning. Isn't that crazy? You got to get the steak and eggs. You got to go to McDonald's, get yourself a McGriddle or something to cozy up and watch a little matinee hockey from New Jersey. They play the Devils tomorrow at 11, as I said. Weird time for hockey. It was weird. I remember when we were coming up playing DCYHA and wearing these jerseys. And you know what's fun? We sorry, I'm like, it's tangent on tangent on tangent. We found the whole box of our old DCYHA jerseys, so I'll probably be rolling out more of those as we go. But it seemed like every time we had like a game that was earlier in the day on Saturday, and I remember like when us driving up to like Logan at like 4 a.m. to catch a 7 o'clock game at the rink up there in Cache Valley. We were always a little sluggish, I think, especially early going in the game. It'll be interesting to see how the Utah Hockey Club responds when they play New Jersey. Luckily, they haven't been traveling too much. They were just in Manhattan at Madison Square Garden the other night, so I would think they, it's not like they're frantically traveling to get to New Jersey for their game tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see if there's still a little bit of sleepiness that comes into that, but it still should be a fun game to watch tomorrow on Monday. I think I talked about this early in the year. The Devils are sort of the preseason media darling, so that'll be a great test. And if the Utah Hockey Club wins, as I said, that'll be their 4th win. They'll start the year 4-0. That's something the Vegas Golden Knights did not accomplish in their magical first season in the Nevada desert. So Utah Hockey Club, it feels like it's a chance to make history. They already are making history. They're making believers out of the good folks here in Utah. It's such a crazy ride. This is like a joyride through the cosmos, really, is how I would put it. And I think like there's so many stories that are happening with this team. I really like the way basically everybody is playing. Like, if I had to be critical of one player on the team, I would say it's probably Connor Ingram, the goaltender, who has mishandled the puck a couple times. We still love him, though. He's still a great guy. Love his attitude. And, yeah, he has recovered with some amazing Superman saves, particularly the one against the Islanders was notable. But he's gotten very lucky this year, and I think sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and I think Ingram's been a little bit of both, especially in that Islanders game. I saw that, but the Rangers game was really crazy last night, and particularly in the second period. And I really wanted to do a post-game recap with you guys, to do it live from the original SLC Puck Studios, but I just don't have the same getup that I have here. I have all this like great equipment. I got a sign, like I got to figure out like a way we can do a live post game show, because I really would like to do that. I think that would be a lot of fun. But it was funny. Like, as I was planning on doing that, so I was trying to pay really close attention to the game. And so I got myself like a bunch of index cards, and the idea was I was just going to take notes during the game. I was like, okay, maybe each period I'll fill up one index card with information that I can refer to during the post-game show. Well, it didn't work out that way. I ended up with a lot more than just one index card. I ended up with about 10. And in the third period alone, I think I scribbled down about 5 cards worth of notes in that second period. And Mike Fulta, the radio guy for the Utah Hockey Club, summed it up very well. This is right after the second period of that game. He said, that was one of the craziest periods I've ever seen. 7 total goals, 4 Utah goals in a 12-minute span, 2 fights. That was cool. I thought I was so disappointed McBain got ejected from the game, because I thought it would have been, he had scored a goal earlier in the game, and with the fight, he was 2/3 of the way there to a Gordie Howe hat trick. I was like looking forward to seeing him go for an assist there the last half of the game, but he got the game misconduct and was booted out. That's too bad. But again, 2 fights, 43 penalty minutes for one period. That was crazy. It felt like the Rangers had about 4 or 5 guys in the penalty box at one point, and then one goal that bounced off the wall into the net. That was a kind of a fluky goal that Connor Ingram let in, and I think the way he's been handling the puck behind the net has been a little bit questionable. But hey, that was a bit of misfortune. But he's also gotten a lot of good fortune this year, so you roll with the punches there. But man, I'm just thinking about the way the season started, though, is giving me chills. It's like really scaring me, and the main source of fear is coming from Dylan Guenther, because like it's fun to watch him. I'm glad he's on our side. If he wasn't, I would be petrified every time he's on the ice. And you can kind of see this fear right here. And I wanted to go back and replay and relive his power play goal against the Rangers, because I think there's a lot to dig into here. And I wish this clip that I found started a little bit earlier, but we'll try to back it up and just see how it goes. And yes, I know I'm going to get dinged on copyright by the NHL. And hey, NHL, I'm trying to educate fans on how like hockey works. I'm trying to provide commentary and all that. Is that not fair use? You know what I mean? Do I need to get lawyers involved? I can't afford lawyers. But anyway, let's go into this. This is the power play goal here. At one point, the Rangers were down 5-3, 2-man advantage for Utah, but they killed the first half of that penalty. Utah's up 4-3. Again, this is about 6 minutes to go in the second period. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you might want to switch over to YouTube to get the benefit of the visual, including looking at my ridiculousness today. But we'll just play this clip here. It was kind of interesting. Again, I wish I'd started earlier, because it was interesting how Utah started this action. So you can see right here, here's Guenther. He's 11. He's right here on his left side, and that's where they're going to have him shoot the puck the majority of the time, because he's a right-handed shot. So his stick blade is facing more of the net when he's on this side, as opposed to being on that side. It would be a sharper angle, like you'd probably be looking at that post. But because he's able to see more of the net with his stick blade in the center of the ice, he's going to be on the left side. But they started this play kind of interesting. They had him line up on the right side, and then they did some really subtle passing and rotating here to get him on the left side. And Dominic Moore, who's the color commentator for the Utah Hockey Club, who, by the way, does a really good job. And he talked about how he loves being a part of the Utah community. He said he went down to play tennis with the BYU men's tennis team the other day. So kind of cool. By the way, what BYU, and I'm, again, tangents on tangents today. BYU is getting way too much right now. You know what I mean? I went to the University of Utah. I'm a Utah man. They're driving me crazy. The way the football season's playing out. It's kind of a bummer. What makes it worse is that BYU is doing awesome. You know what I mean? They had that huge win against Arizona. They looked awesome on national TV. God, it just makes me so mad. Anyway, let's get back into talking about Dylan Guenther here. So they did this there was this really subtle rotation before this clip starts. They get him here on the left side, and that was just sort of meant to confuse the New York Rangers and possibly get a mismatch here on his good side. But you'll see this whole power play, they're just trying to get Dylan Guenther a one-timer right on this face-off dot right here, right in this mid-range, right by, they call this the seam, by the way, this area at the top of the circle. That's sort of where the defense separates. They call that the seam. So that's like if you're a good shooter, that's where you want to hang out, because that's where the defense is most vulnerable. But here, let's just roll the clip here. So they start it, they swing it low. Okay, there's Keller right there. Again, they are trying to find Dylan Guenther right now, but this guy, this Rangers defender, he's got eyes in the back of his head. He's keeping an eye on Guenther. He's terrified that if he separates from Guenther for even a second, that something horrible is going to happen to his team, and he's right to think that. So we're rolling here. Keller swings it down to Hayton, goal line. Schmaltz, oh baby! See that? This is where the terrifying. This is all of New York's worst nightmares happening. Okay, because this guy did a really good job of shadowing Guenther. Guenther is sort of moving like Steph Curry, playing without the ball, trying to get an opening. But this is sort of the danger of playing man down, is the Rangers guys have to rotate, depending on where the puck goes. The puck's going to go down here to Barrett Hayton at the goal line. He's going to catch it. Just do a little dump pass here to Nick Schmaltz. And so this guy has to make a choice. It's like he either gives Nick Schmaltz a look right at the net, and he's more than capable of scoring as well. I believe he's scored in every game this year as well. But as he moves towards Schmaltz, Guenther's going to get his opening right at his spot right here. He's lifting the stick blade. He's getting ready for the one-timer. Puck's going to come, and this guy's looking back like, oh, crap, it's over. And look at all that net that Dylan Guenther has to work with. Igor Shesterkin, the Rangers goaltender, was like, I bet he's going to see Dylan Guenther in his nightmares right here, because this is such a great example of power play offense, looking for your guys, getting them in their spots. He's got a wide open net. He buries it top left. Igor Shesterski. Again, what a horrible name he has. When I'm by myself, I'm practicing saying these names in my car. But then when I come here and it's high pressure in the SLC Puck Studios, I say it wrong. Igor, let's just call him Igor. Igor, he flails, but there's nothing he can do. That puck is way over his head. It went top left. Bada bing, bada boom. Guenther, woo, man. He's like, yes, Schmaltz, giving love to Schmaltz. That was a great pass by him. This Utah power play is going to be terrifying. Like, it's going to be so scary to defend. And Utah already is the highest scoring team in the NHL. Again, here's another closer look. So Schmaltz, I don't know what you do in this situation. There's almost no way to defend this. The puck is just in a horrible spot, but Utah does a really good job of and Coach Bear has talked about this, how they don't just want to do like the quantity of shots. They really want to get the best possible shots. And this is exactly what happens here, because this shot by Schmaltz would be a very good shot. There was a decent chance that he could bury this, but the best possible shot is right there at Dylan Guenther, right there on his left side, right at the faceoff dot. He's going to have tons of net to work with, and he can bury that all day, every day. It's a terrifying prospect that these penalty kill units are going to have to deal with. So again, I thought that was a lot of fun. Dylan Guenther is going to score maybe 40 goals this year at least. He's on pace to score like 136 this year, which I believe would be the record. He's going to be out of his mind. Just if he even sort of keeps this pace up, I think 40 goals is possible. And my former man crush, I used to say that general manager Bill Armstrong is my man crush. I think that's kind of moving over to Dylan Guenther now. If he can, but anyway, my former man crush GMBA has talked about how this team really needs a 50 goal scorer. It kind of looks like Dylan Guenther might be that guy, and I don't know if it'll happen this season, but it could totally. It looks like he's got all the tools to make it happen this year. I love looking at NHL Edge. They've got these like really like detailed advanced statistics here on like skating speed, shot speed, all that, and the look at Dylan Guenther's advanced stats are really kind of fun. You can see right here his top skating speed at 22.11 miles per hour puts him in the 91st percentile across the league. He's had 9 speed bursts over 20 miles per hour. That puts him in the top 96%. Skating distance, I actually think this is encouraging. It's not he's in the top 76%, but to me, that if he's not in that 90s, and if he was in the 90s, I would be concerned about him, getting fatigued and all that. That'd be a lot of skating to be in the top, 5% of skaters in the NHL in terms of distance. Shot speed, I think that's indicative of just the kind of shots he takes. It's above the league average of 72. He takes an 82 mile per hour shot on average. That's just a real quick slap shot. It's accurate. It's effective. It's quick off the stick. That's what you want. His 11 shots on goal. This is nuts. He's shooting at 45.5%. That is not a sustainable rate, I would say, but still, man, that would be, if he can keep that around 20 or 25, he's gonna have an unbelievable year. And again, he leads the league in goals at 5, so that puts him in the 99% tile. Again, the skating speed's great. And again, I talk so much about where teams should fear Dylan Guenther, and I think this shot location chart tells the story here and backs up what I said. This chart makes it look like I know what I'm talking about. Isn't that great? So you can see right here, this is where the bulk of his shots are coming right here at that seam, just like I was saying here. He's had 4 shots. He's 4 shots there, another couple just right in front right here, but this is going to be where he's going to earn the $56 million contract he signed right here at the top of the circle on the left side, because he's a right-handed shooter. He did score a goal down. It did note that he scored a goal right here, and we'll just go to look at this. You can click on goals right here. That's nice. See, he scored 2 of his 5 goals right here, another one right here. So this area from distance is where he's going to thrive, and this one goal right here was the empty netter he scored against the Chicago Blackhawks. But again, this guy's really getting me excited, and it feels like to really make, oh, sorry, you can't see me, and to really make hockey work here in Utah, like it's going to be much easier to get people excited if they have like names and personalities to get into. Because, I mean, I just think about like when the Jazz had their real golden era a few years ago. I mean, there were names and personalities and characters that fans got excited about. You know, whether you might have been a Rudy Gobert person, you might have been a Donovan Mitchell person, you might have been like everybody else and been a Joe Ingles person. And I've said this before. I think Liam O'Brien is this team's version of Joe Ingles. I think Dylan Guenther is kind of like the Donovan Mitchell of this team, really. In some ways, he's a young phenom. You know, he's just starting out his career, much like Donovan Mitchell's, you know, jaw-dropping slam dunks. I kind of feel that same way when I watch Dylan Guenther. And I did something while watching the Rangers game that I have like done so rarely in my life as like someone who watches sports. I actually whooped. I let out a whoop when I was watching this game alone in my apartment. And I know that sounds weird, but like, I was telling this to Dustin, who I went to the Chicago game with. I'm like, I'm so used to sitting on press row or working in like the press area during a game that I don't really know how to cheer during games, because when you sit on press row, you know, you have to be objective, impartial. You can't cheer and all that. So because I'm like just used to watching games that way, it's hard for me to cheer while I'm watching games. But when I saw that goal by Dylan Guenther on the power play, and I was watching them work for it. I was watching him go back and forth. I was watching them rotate and try to get set up there on that left side for him to hit that right-handed shot. I whooped. I threw a little bit of my drink in the air, like woo! Like it was exciting, and that is what this team is doing for me. They are getting me into hockey. I have my Instagram going on right now. I can see some of my friends are watching. I know a lot of my friends are getting into hockey in a way that like they never have, and like a lot of the people who have been into hockey their whole lives are reinvigorated again, and we're falling in love with this team, and it feels magical. But Dylan Guenther makes it feel spooky. He makes it very scary, almost as scary as my costume. So anyway, that's today's episode. Put it in the books. I do have a programming note for you guys. So I know you guys are used to episodes on Sundays and Wednesdays. I will not have an episode this Wednesday. I'll be on the road. I just happen to be in Anaheim for a work thing. So I'm going to go to the game against the Ducks on Wednesday night. I'll try to do like some kind of content there, but I can't carry all my equipment with me on to Anaheim. So, and it'll be the 50th episode. So I kind of want to do something like a little bit special for that one too. So we'll be back here for episode 50 of SLC Puck next Sunday. I don't know what we'll do on Wednesday. We'll do something else, but I'll be at the game, and I'll be reporting live from the Honda Center in Anaheim. So anyway, that's your programming note. Like, comment, subscribe, SLC Puck shop for merch, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.